Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by Ash Paulson to give our predictions for the final Super Smash Bros. Presentation. So let's get started. Well, Ash, we finally got confirmation on when this presentation is going to happen. As the rumors had said, it's going to be the 15th, and well, the way it was phrased, it's like for more on cloud and more. So I think we're finally going to get the reveal of the Smash Ballot winner, if it wasn't already Cloud, as well as any other DLC that might be coming to the game, at least in overview. But, you know, that's just a quick thoughts on this. But what are your thoughts on this whole presentation?
Well, I mean, the fact that they're calling it the final Super Smash Bros. Presentation tells me that, you know, maybe they're going to, you know, as you said, kind of lay out the entirety of the rest of the DLC and kind of let us know when everything's coming out. Like, I don't think everything's necessarily going to be released right after it. I think Cloud probably will be. That makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. But I think we'll probably get an overview of Cloud plus everything else that's coming in the future, and then maybe we'll get some release dates or release periods for everything beyond Cloud. That's just my guess, but only really because they're calling it the final presentation. That said, I did find the wording interestingly specific. They're calling it the last presentation dedicated to Super Smash Bros. So that doesn't rule out the possibility of future things being announced as part of a general Nintendo Direct in the future.
Yeah, I remember when you said that before we started this whole discussion. I was like, oh, that is pretty interesting, and it would make sense to, like, okay, here's everything coming, and then coming direct happens, and here's the actual trailer for such and such character, and they're now available, or they will be available at this specific date, sort of thing. So it would make sense to have that, but I wouldn't take this as a maybe they'll announce something completely new at a direct. No, I can't see that happening. But as far as like updating on it, yeah, it can totally happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm conflicted because, this has been kind of, Sakurai's wild and crazy ride over the past couple of years, and it's finally kind of coming to an end, I think. And it's a little sad because, honestly, they could keep releasing DLC for Smash Brothers till the end of time, and I would keep buying it. I mean, I would continue to be hyped about it, add more stages, add more characters. But, the reality of the situation is that they have kept this development team together for over a year since the game's release. It's now been over a year since Smash Wii U released worldwide. And, actually in America, and it's about to be a year since its Japanese release. So, they've kept that development team dedicated to Smash Brothers DLC for over a year. And, the team's got to disperse at some point so they can work on new projects. So it's a crappy reality, and I wish they could just keep making DLC forever, but, that's the way it is, and it has been a fun ride, and I cannot wait to see what is announced on the 15th.
Yeah, I mean, it's been definitely fun to just keep the Smash Brothers hype going and having people talk about it and discuss it. Like, it never really ended once the DLC became a thing and all these new characters became possible. But I am very excited to see what Sakurai decides to do next. Because, in between Brawl and Wii U, we got Kid Icarus Uprising. What other, crazy projects could he decide to work on? Would it be something original? Would he revive another classic? Would it return to Kid Icarus or Kirby? We don't know. But it'd be I'm, really excited to see what he does after this. I think that'll be a lot of fun to see. And, that's why I'm not too upset about DLC ending and having him move on, because Sakurai is a fantastic developer. He has such a great creativity to him, and I'm always willing to see what he does next.
Oh, yeah, me too. I mean, I hope the first thing he does is take a long vacation, because he certainly has earned several of them. And his whole team, too. I mean, they've crafted such an incredible game with such an amazing roster of characters. So I hope they all take a vacation, especially Sakurai. But yeah, I mean, as you said, he's such a visionary. He's one of my favorite game developers, pretty much of all time. I would play anything he made. And, I would love him to go out and do new things, but at the same time, Kid Icarus Uprising is probably my favorite 3DS game of all time. So I would be so thrilled if he were to make a sequel, but I don't see that happening. But yeah, I mean, whatever he does, it's going to be awesome. We know that pretty much, and I'm looking forward to finding out what that is just as much as you are.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, let's actually get into predictions since, or talking about this whole thing, because the idea, of course, is that we're going to get all the other DLC laid out in this presentation. No idea how long it's going to be or anything like that. It could be super short. It could be rather long. We don't know. But I think we're both in agreement that Cloud is likely going to be released once this presentation is over.
Absolutely, I think so, and I think much like the special Smash Brothers presentation over E3, I think it's going to, that one detailed Ryu. So I think this one will probably, give a detailed overview of how Cloud works, how his limit breaks work, just kind of a general character tour about, how Cloud's going to play. And then I absolutely agree that Cloud will be announced to be available immediately following the presentation.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you think they're going to have another character released alongside him? In the same way that when Ryu was announced, they released Roy and Lucas. Could this be how we get Wolf or one of the other previous characters?
I think that's possible. I think, Wolf, why not bring him back? He seems like still like a likely candidate to me. I mean, if they can bring Lucas back, Lucas had a ton of fans. They decided to bring him back. Wolf has a ton of fans. I mean, maybe not as many as Lucas, but he's a pretty popular Brawl veteran. So why not bring him back? And if they were going to, it seems, plausible to release him alongside Cloud.
Yeah, it would work out. And I think, people, it would help increase the hype and just add in more and more stuff and be pretty interesting and pretty fun. Now, do you think Cloud is the Smash Ballot winner? Because a lot of people are debating the phrasing of Sakurai's tweets about Cloud, how it was a long time coming. A lot of people were really asking for him. So it's made a few people think that he was actually the Smash Ballot winner. I don't personally think that. I don't think it's just... I think Cloud was asked for a long time before that, and then it just sort of like, when the ballot happened, I was like, okay, let's go for some more realistic expectations. But I don't know. I mean, but in every sort of poll that I saw, I didn't really see Cloud as an option or anything like that, or him pop up.
Yeah, same here. Initially before those tweets came out from Sakurai, I was right there with you. I didn't see how Cloud could possibly be the ballot winner. Same as you. I never really saw him as a huge presence in any of the, kind of fan polls that took place over the course of this ballot. And of course, that doesn't mean anything. We don't have access to Nintendo's internal data, so maybe Cloud is the ballot winner. But it does seem unlikely, just because I don't think a lot of people ever thought Cloud ever had a serious chance. So, it doesn't seem likely to me that Cloud is the ballot winner. But, if he is, then that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I don't see how that could really be. But, who knows, honestly.
I would think for a ballot winner, they would make it a big thing. Like, yes, this is the ballot winner. This, or, drum up the tension. Like, okay, now, here's the ballot winner. That sort of thing. Drum roll, please, and all that.
Yeah.
And it never happened. You'd think that after all the buildup of that ballot, they would have brought a little bit more attention to it and whatnot. Especially with the ballot not really ending that long before Cloud was announced, maybe like a month or two. That's not enough to get him set up, and unless he had a huge lead, it just seems like, to me, it seems like Cloud was set up before this.
Yeah, I mean, the timeline doesn't really make sense if Cloud is the ballot winner, just because, unless, like you said, unless he was an early winner, so far head and tails above the rest of any other character that was, voted for in the ballot, then they, were able to see early on, yeah, Cloud's the winner, we can start developing him now. But yeah, the timeline doesn't really make sense otherwise, and it could be that this ballot was never meant to be as formal as maybe fans thought it was supposed to be. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be as kind of structured and kind of, okay, this ballot's going to end and now we're going to announce the winner. Maybe it was just supposed to be kind of more of an informal, casual kind of litmus test of the fan base, like, hey, what characters would you guys kind of like to see for future content? And we're not really promising anything, but just to kind of get an idea.
Mm-hmm. It could be. It could be. And I still sort of predict a formal, like, okay, here's the ballot winner, or here's the top three, and those become the DLC characters or what have you. I can see it not happening. I could see it totally happening, but my gut leans more towards just, and finally, here's our ballot winner, and it's the last piece of DLC blank. You know?
Yeah.
It just makes sense to hype that sort of thing up because this was so big, so much of a fan involvement, for the series.
Right.
But let's get into it. Let's. I guess first of all, how many more characters do you think are coming?
Well, the latest patch was data mined, and it found placeholder data for at least 3 more characters. So at the very least, we can surmise that at least 3 more characters are coming, along with 3 more stages. So there are actually 6 placeholder stage slots, and 3 of those would be for an Omega form. So 3 new stages, 3 new characters. That seems to be kind of the bare minimum at what's left. Mm-hmm. So that's, of course, they can change that anytime they want. That doesn't mean they're beholden to that. They could just say, hey, 1 more character and that's it. But I'm going to go with the theory that we have, 3 more characters and 3 more stages and run with that.
Okay. I had not heard that, actually.
Okay.
Were those 3, was that including Cloud or not including Cloud?
That was including Cloud because those placeholder slots were data mined before Cloud was announced. So okay. Cloud would theoretically take up 1, along with Midgard taking up a stage slot.
Okay, so theoretically, we have 2 left. So let's, for the sake of structure, let's just go with that. We have 2 predictions left. Maybe we can throw in 3 since they might do a top 3 or maybe top 2. But at the very least, we have 2 predictions. And before we give ours, Andre is away at the moment and wanted us to make sure to give his predictions for the for the ballot winner, for who would be the last bit of DLC. And of course, there's this omnipresent Captain N. Which not going to happen.
Never going to happen.
But I do think his second one has merit, and that is the Mercedes-Benz GLA. Because
totally.
I don't know. I like the cut of that character's jib. It's very iconic. It's appeared in 2 Nintendo games now.
Yeah, and now Smash would complete the trifecta.
Mm-hmm. It would, and you know what? The only thing I'm a little worried about if the GLA does make it into Smash, I think it might be overpowered.
Probably
because the design is just so sleek, so it's faster than anybody else. Sonic, Captain Falcon, they wouldn't stand really much of a chance, and the safety features are just so good.
Yeah.
How can you crack that defense? Like the shield will not break.
No, it's true. I mean, it's one of the safest, most top-rated cars out there. So how could you possibly defeat it in Smash Brothers?
Yeah, it's just not likely, and I hope it doesn't break it in because I don't want that GLA to break the game and just make it so, everybody's going to be using it now. We're just going to see a bunch of GLAs fighting each other, and that's we don't want to see that. It would be it's New Fox. It's Final Destination GLA, no items.
well, maybe we're looking at this the wrong way. Maybe the GLA is going to be one of the new stages. So maybe one of the stages is just the interior of a big GLA. And we're going to get to see all of its gorgeous interior features as we battle it out with our favorite characters in Smash Brothers.
That is true. I mean, they've got those soft, leathery seats. We got the
exactly
different seats being cooled or heated individually. There's all kinds of crazy, not really hazards because again, it's a luxury car,
right?
So things that could affect the player, the different characters. So,
well, I think we might as well pack it in because I think we've successfully predicted all the rest of the DLC.
Yeah, totally. Also, I can't believe we just spent 2 minutes talking about this damn car.
People are going to love this on Twitter. They're going to field day with it.
Anyway, that's Andre's little contribution and us just extrapolating off of that. But
right.
For serious, what are your 2 predictions? What are your predictions? Let's go with the first one.
Okay, so character, I suppose. I guess character. Okay, so other than Cloud, obviously. Well, I mean, I already touched on it, so I'll just say Wolf. I do think Wolf is coming back still. Only really because I don't really have a reason to think he's not. I mean, again, they've got something to work off of from Brawl. He's got a fan following because of his appearance in Brawl. So, if they can bring Lucas and Mewtwo and Roy back, Wolf seems to be really the last remaining obvious veteran to bring back. I mean, Ice Climbers we know aren't going to happen for all the reasons that we've already talked about before. Pichu doesn't really seem to have much of a fan following considering it's a joke character. Pokemon Trainer, not going to happen. Ivysaur, Squirtle, not going to happen. So Wolf does seem like the most likely, the last veteran to return.
Mm-hmm. It does. Wouldn't it be something? Because I pretty much agree with you that Wolf is the most likely veteran to return next, and I do think we're going to have at least one more veteran.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be something if they did bring back Snake, and it was more of a Kojima Productions thing than a Konami thing, since at the Game Awards they did say, Metal Gear Solid 5 was developed by Kojima Productions and not Konami.
Right.
So I'm not, but I have a feeling Konami would kind of block anything like that because, I don't think Nintendo and Konami really want to go to war with each other. So I think that might be a big block to that sort of thing. But I can also, I can almost see Sakurai like wanting to put Snake in there because the friendship with Kojima and whatnot.
Well, I mean, look, I gotta hand it to Snake fans. They are some of the most resilient people I have ever witnessed on the internet. Because in my opinion, we have every reason to think that Snake's return is impossible at this point, given the situation at Konami, given everything that's surrounding Konami right now. They appear to just not give a damn how anyone perceives them, and they really seem to be mostly interested in pursuing their new pachinko business. So, whatever. It's not my preference, but hey, more power to them. It's not my decision. But we don't really have any reason to think Snake has even a shadow of a chance of returning. But you know what? Snake fans continue to believe, they continue to have faith, and I would personally, while I don't personally miss Snake and I don't really need to see him return, I would love to see their faith rewarded because they've really been clamoring for Snake to come back. So, I don't think it's got a chance of happening, but hey, who knows? Maybe it will.
Yeah, could happen. I mean, it would be great to see just every third-party character that the series has introduced be all in the same game.
Yeah, it really would. I mean, maybe we would get. It kind of makes you wonder if Snake did come back. It makes you wonder if we would get, what version of him would we get? Would it be kind of that weird mishmash between Solid Snake and Big Boss, or Naked Snake that we got in Brawl, or would it be maybe Punish Snake, or would it be a new model of Solid Snake? Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a feeling they go more with the classic, Metal Gear Solid 1 Snake and that more iconic look, or MGS2, something like that.
Well, I mean, they didn't for Brawl though. They like in Brawl, he looked kind of like a mishmash between 3 and 1.
That's true. Huh. I don't know. Be interesting to see. But yeah, I pretty much agree with you with Wolf and whatnot. That just seems very likely, and none of the other characters really stand out to me as somebody that's something that could seriously make it in. As much as I'd love to see Ice Climbers return, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But what's your other prediction?
My other prediction is Inkling. I think the last newcomer, assuming there are only 3 more characters, is going to be Inkling, because Splatoon is hot. It's super hot. It's big. It's one of the best-selling games on the Wii U, and it is that right now. It's not going to be that in 5, 6, 7 years when the next Smash potentially gets announced. It's hot right now, so why wouldn't they want to leverage Splatoon and put it in Smash? It just makes too much sense to me.
Yeah, it totally does. I actually kind of forgot about that again, but as soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, Inkling, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Now, the strange thing about that is that what would be the winner in that lineup that you have?
Well, that's the problem. Yeah, that's the big hole in my prediction, is that there isn't a ballot winner, because that would be Cloud, I guess, in my prediction. So I hadn't really prepared for that eventuality. So, I don't know. There's a huge hole in my prediction there, in that there is no obvious ballot winner if Cloud isn't it. So if Cloud's not the ballot winner, then my theory goes out the window.
Yeah,
unless there are more than 3 characters coming.
That it totally could be. I mean, or we could get a Splatoon stage. And that's how they represent Splatoon. I mean, maybe not get an Inkling, but there is a Splatoon stage, which would be really cool, honestly.
Right.
I'd love to see that. I do have a feeling at least one of the stages is going to be a returning stage. I'm not sure whether it'll be from Brawl, Melee, or 64. But, oh man, if we could get Saffron City.
Well, I have a hunch that any other returning stages we get would be from Melee, just because we have now, 4 or 3 from Smash 64, and we have the most popular fan favorite stage from Brawl, at least according to what seems to be discussions online. Everyone wanted Pirate Ship to come back, right? Mm-hmm. So, in my opinion, if we do get another returning stage, and I think we are, it's going to be either Fountain of Dreams or Poke Floats, because those two seem to be the fan favorite stages from Melee, as much as I can tell.
Really? Poke Floats is his fan favorite stage?
It seems to be, at least from what I've been reading. Like, just kind of just discussion online, people seem to really want Poke Floats to come back. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just kind of one of those, I hate it so much I kind of love it stages. But I do think Fountain of Dreams has a really good shot of returning.
Yeah. Yeah, you know me, I said a long time ago, personally, I'd love to see Big Blue come back, which is kind of like Poke Floats as far as chaos, but who knows? I mean, there's a lot of great stages to choose from, and I'd be fine with either. I actually do kind of enjoy Poke Floats for the pure insanity of it, and just how many funny situations can happen in that stage. I love it for that. But yeah, as far as my prediction, I got to go off my. I don't really have a solid prediction. I think you are on the right track with Inkling or somebody new, but there's not really any other new characters other than the Inklings that really stand out in any real way, which makes me draw towards the ballot winner. So, of course, I voted for Isaac from Goldenstein, but a lot of people are hoping for King K. Rool. Do you think he has any shot of being the ballot winner and the big, the final inclusion? I mean, even if he's not the ballot winner, do you think they would see all the demand and put him in?
I think there's certainly a chance. I mean, he's got more of a shot than Ridley ever did because he's, like an actual human-sized character. So, I think K. Rool has as good a shot as anybody because there does seem to be that fan demand there. So, it wouldn't be my choice personally, but, I think that he's got a shot. I'd rather see Dixie if we're going to get a new Donkey Kong rep. Mm-hmm. I've always liked Dixie's character design. I know she would probably be pretty similar to Diddy, but there are ways you could differentiate her. And I think she'd be a little more interesting than K. Rool personally. But K. Rool's got a ton of fans. I think there's definitely a shot there for him to get in.
Yeah, and I think the big reason I'd like to have K. Rool in is we need more villains. It'd be great to have another villain.
That's true, too. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have more villains. I guess I don't know. I can't think of that many villains that I just really would need to have in Smash Brothers. I originally hoped when we were still, the roster was incomplete. We didn't know what the final roster was going to be. I had really hoped that Ganondorf was going to maybe be retooled into like a more unique, like Pig Ganon from like A Link to the Past, which would have been a more kind of an interesting form for him to take in Smash Brothers than this kind of, he's obviously been decloned from Captain Falcon quite a bit, but it's still not, he doesn't feel like his own character as much as I think he probably should.
Yeah.
But, I guess K. Rool, as far as villains go, if we're not getting Ridley, and we're not, I guess K. Rool seems to be, that seems to be kind of a big Nintendo villain, at least used to be a big Nintendo villain that could be represented in Smash.
I wouldn't be opposed to it at all. I think it'd be a pretty fun choice and it'd obviously make a lot of people happy. The other thing that's been floated around a lot because of this whole Minecraft news is, you talked about Steve making it in, but people aren't really focusing on Steve from what I've seen. It's all about, well, if they're working with Microsoft, is it possible we could get Banjo-Kazooie?
Oh, that'd be so cool. I would be so happy about that.
That would be... I think people would be more shocked about Banjo-Kazooie making it in than Cloud.
Yeah, probably, because at the end of the day, I think, people who know that Cloud is not technically a Sony character. He's a Square Enix character. So that would be, then Banjo-Kazooie, that would be a character now owned by a direct rival to Nintendo, making it in Smash. But for his part, Phil Spencer has said on a couple of times on the record that he would love for that to happen. I mean, again, Microsoft owns Minecraft now, so they obviously had to work with Nintendo to make this happen, for the Wii U version to happen. So Microsoft clearly is not above working with Nintendo, and Phil Spencer has said, hey, Banjo and Smash would be really cool. So, it isn't impossible, honestly.
Mm-hmm. And, it'd be huge. It would be seriously huge if they could pull it off, and I can't think of too many people who'd be upset by that decision.
Well, I think there are a lot of people, maybe younger gamers who weren't around for the N64, who might not understand the significance of Banjo-Kazooie, kind of like how a lot of people might not necessarily understand the significance of Ryu or Mega Man, and that it's just, a newer generation of gamers who don't really understand why Banjo-Kazooie is so popular. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, all older gamers, I can't imagine, except for the weird people who just don't like Banjo or don't like Rare. We don't talk about those people. Among older gamers, I feel like Banjo-Kazooie would be an incredibly popular inclusion, and and that's not to disparage younger gamers. I'm sure there are a lot of newer players who have gone back and played the classics and would love to see Banjo. So, man, I would be so hyped about that, to get both Cloud and Banjo-Kazooie. Oh, man. Yeah,
that would be absolutely nuts to see them pull that off, especially since Diddy and Banjo have been in the same game before with Diddy Kong Racing. There's a lot of history there, and the guys that played Tonic, they're the ones that worked on Banjo. They'd be like, yeah, we're all for it. We'd love to see Banjo in Smash. it's a great use of the character, and it'd be really cool to see how they make him work. And that's the thing, is Banjo, his moveset is tailor-made for Smash Brothers.
It really is. I mean, you look at Duck Hunt. That already kind of plays with the idea of a dual character, moveset like that. But Banjo-Kazooie could take it even a step further and differentiate themselves from Duck Hunt. So yeah, I think that could definitely, there is a shot. I'm not prepared to say it's a big one, but I don't think it's impossible. I mean, Cloud's in Smash, so really nothing's impossible at this point. And I could see Banjo-Kazooie being the ballot winner, or at least placing highly in the ballot. Mm-hmm. So, and that kind of leads me to another character that I haven't quite forgotten about yet, which is Shovel Knight. And I've kind of mostly moved on from thinking he has a decent shot, but the rumor's not entirely dead. And I do feel like if there was an indie character that was ever going to have a chance, it would be Shovel Knight. And from what I understand, he did pretty well in the ballot. Mm-hmm. So, it's not impossible. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm not prepared to write off the possibility completely yet.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely happen. I'm pretty much reserved. I voted for Shantae, but I'm pretty sure that she's not going to make it in. That's just not happening. Shovel Knight might have a chance, but yeah, I'm like you. I'm not thinking he has a huge chance. It'd be cool, but I don't know if it'll happen. But as far as a level, if Banjo does make it in, or Snake will. If Snake makes it in, obviously Shadow Moses Island is coming back.
Yeah.
But if Banjo makes it in, there totally would be a Spiral Mountain stage.
Oh yeah, I mean, it could be Spiral Mountain, or it could be any number of things. It could be Gruntilda's lair. It could be the roof of Gruntilda's castle with Gruntilda herself, firing spells at you from the background. Mm-hmm. There's so many locations in Banjo-Kazooie that are ripe for a stage in Smash Brothers. Freeze-Easy Peak. I mean, so many great locations that could serve as a stage in Smash. So, God, just thinking about it really makes me want to have Banjo be like one of the last newcomers. But man, that'd be cool.
It would be really cool, and I think that's the excitement about this presentation, is because ever since Cloud, we have a data mine and we can see that three more characters are coming or whatever, but we don't know what those are. We don't know anything about this, and we're like with Cloud, we're going into this pretty much blind as of right now. We have no idea what's going to happen, and that makes it all the more exciting. If they can maintain this air of mystery, that it just means that every announcement in that presentation will be a surprise, and a fun surprise at that.
Totally. I mean, I was so thrilled that Cloud wasn't leaked, because that, Ryu was already surprising and cool enough, but the fact that he was leaked beforehand really took a huge amount of the thunder out of his announcement. So, obviously, we're game journalists. If something leaks, we're beholden to cover it and just, get it out there, talk about it as much as possible. But personally, I would rather that not happen. I would always choose something not leaking over something leaking, especially something like a Smash Brothers character. So I really hope that whatever surprise they have in store for us, that it doesn't leak like Cloud, because Cloud was such an amazing surprise. And imagine how not disappointing, but how much less hype that would have been if he had been leaked in advance like Ryu.
Yeah, it would have killed it. I mean, and I'm right there with you. I prefer it when there's no leaks, there's no rumors or anything like that. It's just bam, there it is.
Yeah.
And you can really catch a person off by surprise, and just get those genuine reactions, like you said about Cloud being revealed, and all those reaction videos for people who care about that character and keep doing that. But yeah. Well, any final thoughts on this whole presentation?
I guess I'd just like to take a quick moment of silence for the other ballot character that I voted for besides Shovel Knight, which was the Chorus Kids. It was a nice dream while it lasted, and it would have been awesome to have a Rhythm Heaven character in Smash Brothers, but it's obviously never going to happen, just wasn't meant to be. So I'm a little sad about it, but hey, I got Mega Man, so I really can't complain in the end.
Yep. Would have been cool, but maybe next time, buddy. Maybe next time. Alright, guys. Well, I think that covers it for our Smash Brothers discussion, so thank you for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Smash Brothers and other things gaming too. Until next time, guys. Bye.